to Facebook and YouTube, so we'll say hello to those folks. Hello. We're also bringing in our live Zoom audience right now. So welcome if you're here on Zoom. Thank you for joining us. And we usually just take a minute to let people get settled. So thank you. We'll give a introduction to the program here in a moment. It is Piano Tech Radio Hour. If you haven't been here before, we'll give you the lowdown. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, and you can get a front row seat. We will try to share some links for you in the chat so you could directly join the Zoom call that we're on. So if you're on YouTube, Facebook, and you want to get a little closer to the action, go ahead, ask some questions, type some things in the chat, and interact with your fellow audience members. All right, let me intro the program, and we will get started with our guest today. Welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour. We gather here every Saturday to meet with and learn from the most fascinating and knowledgeable folks in the music and piano world. This could include manufacturers, rebuilders, musicians, makers of other instruments. Of course, there's always piano techs. Our mutual goal is to become better at our craft, to help each other, and to create an ever more musical world together. Piano Tech Radio Hour is brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, an online learning resource that brings you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. You can find out more at pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. You can also subscribe to Radio Hour, just $16 a month. Get direct access to each week's private Zoom call, as well as all the archival recordings of over 200 episodes in our member area. You can join using the link bit.ly/joinptrh. That's bit.ly/joinptrh. We always like to mention our podcast, which is the audio-only version of the show, which you can listen to and enjoy while you're doing dishes, lifting weights, driving around in the car, working in the workshop. And we have reached top 100, top 10, #1 status even in various locales throughout the globe in the performing arts category on iTunes. And so we very much enjoy publishing the podcast that way. We also have the Substack, where you can check out some of the more detailed technical information that is behind the scenes in Piano Technicians Masterclasses for the technicians. And our socials, links in Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as signing up for our email list. Just go to pianotechniciansmasterclass.com, pop in your name and your email, and you'll stay up to date with all the wonderful things going on with Radio Hour and the masterclasses. All right, let's introduce our lovely guest for the day. His name is Homero Alvarez. He's a guitarist, composer, and a band leader, known for his dynamic fusion of jazz and Latin American musical traditions. Born in Buenos Aires, raised in Sweden, Homero brings a cross-cultural perspective to his work, blending rhythmic influences such as cumbia, samba, baião, maracatu, and bossa nova, with the improvisational language of jazz. As leader of the Homero Alvarez Septet, he has developed a distinctive sound that is both rhythmically vibrant and compositionally sophisticated. He creates space for individual expression while maintaining a cohesive ensemble voice. His writing is informed by experience composing for film, theater, television, and radio, giving his music a strong sense of narrative, emotion, and structure. His debut album, Growing, 2022, received recognition in the Swedish jazz scene, followed by continued releases that further established his reputation as a creative and evolving voice in contemporary jazz. And finally, with a sound that bridges continents and traditions, he continues to push the boundaries of modern jazz while staying deeply rooted in the rhythmic and expressive power of Latin music. Homero, welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour.
My God, that was a very, very beautiful introduction. Thank you very much for inviting me, Ethan. I'm very glad to be here.
Absolutely. It's going to be wonderful to chat with you today. Now, my first question often is, my go-to, let's go back to your youth and your first exposures to music and learn how it developed as such a central role in your life. we spoke a little bit before beginning, and maybe we'll get into it. You know, you came out of a little bit of a uncertain childhood. You were moving because of a conflict in your country, and you got to Peru. You've gone on to Sweden, but we didn't necessarily already talk about how music fits into all that. So tell them, at least when you were a child. So tell us a little bit about your childhood and how music played a role there.
Well, actually, the beginning, it's maybe not music. My father was an actor and director, and that was the reason why we left Argentina, because he was into regime critical movies, and he got like banned from Argentina and death threatened and so on. But so my father was it when he came to Sweden. He was like a theater director and actor, and my two bigger brothers became actors too in his theater. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something completely different. So I found the music. It wasn't so far away from him anyway. But so that I think I always had a lot of support in choosing something artistic. I know when I did other stuff, I didn't have as much interest from my parents as when I just were drawing or playing music, or it's like having artistic interested parents gives you much more feedback. So I
Mm,
think that was the reason I just and I went with the
wonderful.
flow with that.
You came from a creative background, and you also had the supportive parents. So that's really wonderful. Interesting. I just have to mention briefly my previous partner, who I moved to Peru with previously in life, actually studied kind of film in Peru, and is working on a documentary about a woman who also made some controversial films in Peru that were not well received,
Uh,
and about indigenous folks. Um, but yeah, so there's some interesting overlaps there. I didn't realize you had that avenue. Um, Tell me about the development of exposure to these various styles. Give me a little bit of an age timeline, if you can, on becoming familiar with different styles of music. You probably heard Argentinian music in the household, and you also, and various Latin American styles, and also encounter some things along the way in your travels. So when and where did you encounter specific styles of music?
I think as many people, in the beginning starting playing, I wasn't interested at all in my cultural background. I was really wanted to play heavy metal. I loved Judas Priest, Kiss,
Nice.
Iron Maiden, and so on. And my father was listening to Piazzolla or they at home, and they had jazz in the background, and I really wasn't interested. I mean, after studying music, starting to learning jazz, starting to play jazz, somewhere becoming 25, 26 is when I found, first of all, Brazilian music, and found that I have been listening to it in my background. It was uh, Chico Buarque, Edu Lobo, Milton Nascimento, all these guys. I recognized all the music of them, and I understood that it had been in my surroundings, but I didn't pay attention to it. And then suddenly I just went into it. First of all that, but and then after that, it was like, I don't know, I mean, I'm not a Swedish looking guy. So I think also other people identified me more with being a Latino musician. So I got to play more and more, not only Brazilian music, but Cuban music, Argentinian music, Uruguayan music. Every time when there needed to be a guitar player playing South American music, I was a good option.
There you go. Yeah, it's interesting. it's interesting how we kind of develop, but also our environment develops us, right?
Yeah, really. I have friends. There's an excellent Mexican percussion player in Sweden. He came to Sweden also as a heavy metal Mexican guy, and nobody wants to contract him as a heavy metal guy. But here, he learned all the Cuban rhythms. He learned, and he's excellent. He's like, and he said, I learned it all here. I mean, he just became what they needed.
Mm. Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, and also interesting to hear about kind of the background. Um, well, I think I'm craving now to listen to some of the music. I was going to ask you, hey, is there ever that metal influence in your compositions these days? But let's not talk about that. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but let's just listen to something. And so I do have several tracks that you've shared. We'll do audio only. We'll listen to a minute or two.
Right.
Do you have a suggestion to start with?
I think it could be cool to maybe because the thing with what you're talking about now, it's my septet. I have a bigger band
Yeah.
which recently released our second album,
Hmm.
Flowing, and uh, and the thing has been more and more mixing my compositions. I've been doing a lot of music for like theater, TV, and so on. And I used some of those themes. I rearranged them and let them out live. But after that, I got also interested in like representing South America in some way, trying to mix in like, what about something from Colombia? What about something from Uruguay? And I started to do like playing with those rhythms. I'm not alone. I mean, in South America, there are thousands and thousands of people doing this. But it's my own journey of mixing my music with those styles. And for me, maybe I would say, what about jazz combined with cumbia from Colombia? The cumbia is played also, of course, in Argentina and many places, but it's cool. There's one song called Algoritmos,
Okay,
and that
algoritmos.
could be nice.
Okay. And that's just this algorithms. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
that means.
actually, the funny thing about that song is that after the pandemic was, of course, a big hit all over the world. Uh,
Mhm.
Maybe less strong in Sweden, that we had access, we could be out, we could go by bus, so that we didn't have as much restrictions. But
Right.
anyway, my complete music business was dropped out. I mean, so I got a bit scared, and after the pandemic, I decided to go into the university again and try to do something completely different. So I took a bachelor's. I studied 3 years computer science
Hmm.
and met a lot of beautiful new friends. See, I mean, I'm older. I'm 56 today, but I started studying when I was 52, I think. Uh,
Hmm.
and my friends were like 25, 26, and it was an adventure. But the thing is, when we were done, when we had our when we graduated, they all got jobs and I didn't. I applied for more than 150 jobs during one
Hmm.
year, and I
Hmm.
was too old. I didn't get any job.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
no, and even being computer science, I mean, programming, and everybody said there's lots of jobs. And maybe this was at the same time that AI came out,
Sure.
ChatGPT.
Sure.
So I ended up not working with it. Now I having a half-time job in a music school
Hmm.
also, but and this was like my farewell song to the algorithms. So
Beautiful. Now also, I mean, I feel like, is this a play on words? Is this like other rhythms? Is that also another way to think about it, or am I getting that wrong as a play on words?
no, not other rhythms, but algo means something.
Something. Okay, yeah. Some kind of
Uh,
a rhythm in
yeah,
a
it
way.
could be some kind of. And algorithms are consequences of different things. I
All
mean,
right.
an algorithm is a result of something coming in there, something comes out there. Uh, and it's our life, basically. I think you can be how symbolically you want with it.
All right. All right, here, let's listen. Here for a minute. Oh, nice, right there in the trombone solo.
It's
Very
fun.
nice. Yeah,
It's very melodic,
it,
no?
yeah. I've got a couple things that come out of it. I'm listening to it. One is it's like I'm imagining like a really fun club scene, like you just want to be there. People are talking and socializing and drinking and dancing, and it definitely feels good for that. But it creates an ambiance in a way, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit of that your experience with the film and theater type of music, in the sense that I could also hear this as the background of a scene. It very much feels like a scene. It's creating a scene. So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, yeah. It's really it's beautiful, as all you know, playing in different bands. Many times you play with trios, quartet, quintets maybe. And as more people, it's very nice to be seven. I don't know, it's a magic number there. It's like, because it's so much contact, but we are many. It's like a nice airplane taking, how do you say?
Taking
Taking
off.
taking off, yeah. So I enjoyed very, very much. It's difficult to sell it, Mick, because we are seven people. You need to have money for
Yeah.
them all, and
Yeah.
so it's always the big struggling with it. But I started this group after the pandemic, and because
Hmm.
before the pandemic I had quite a good jazz club in Stockholm that had offered music every Thursday in a famous hotel in Stockholm, very centric. And we played for like 6 years, 242 concerts with all the major bands, jazz bands from Sweden playing there, also
Hmm.
bands from Finland, England, France, Estonia, and it was like everything disappeared with the pandemic. But I got to know a lot of good musicians there too. So I took contact with some part of those, and so we have two really excellent trumpet and trombone, and they are being like my opening door, getting into the jazz clubs and jazz festivals, and it's really fun.
Have you been to New York City much?
Not much, but very, very long time ago, I was in a theater playing in New York, 94.
Okay.
But not with my music. I was like with the theater play,
Okay.
theater group.
I would like you to move to New York. I think you could. I think you could. I think this vibe could. I'm feeling it in like a club in New York. And I think you'd pick up even more interesting energies, right? Given everything you've already got. But you're probably
I
not.
would love to. Just invite me. We could wait after your elections.
Yeah, there you go. Um, well, yeah, I love the efforts to mix so many wonderful things together. Now tell me about the scene there in Sweden. You touched upon it a little bit, in terms of the different groups that are coming through and the opportunities to play. Um, yeah, tell me a little bit more about what the scene has been like for you in terms of the different styles and kind of where people congregate and gather and how they interact and exchange musical ideas.
Uh, Stockholm is not New York. Uh, Sweden is not the US. It's quite tough. There are, how should I say, the biggest cities have the bigger jazz clubs um, and maybe like a major jazz club in every city. And this, I should say, many of them are, I don't have the word, but the thing I find difficult sometimes is that many jazz clubs are founded by old jazz musicians that maybe has retired in some way. Uh, and many times, I don't say always, but keeps like they are mostly interested in swing music, music from the 40s, 50s,
Mm,
reviving their own musical interest, their youth. And this music can be quite odd in those stages. I mean, it's instrumental and and it's not the regular jazz, and it's not the typical American jazz that many people are most interested in. Uh, but at the same time, that could be seen as something good because I'm coming with something different, and I try to pick up those things that you just mentioned about the cineastic picture of it, the storytelling, trying to tell a bit about every song, what's behind it, because all every song has the story, of course, and
hmm
especially when it's instrumental music, you want to put some more pictures to it.
mm. Thank you for that. How do you end up exploring the topic of composition? Are you kind of compose solo, like you're writing out all the parts and just sharing them? Is it a group effort? Do you have a process for your composition? Just when inspiration strikes you, do you have like a compositional habit? You kind of spend some time each day? What's your process?
I I do everything myself. I give them all notes when it's all ready. I can
Mm,
do, of course, always some improvements, changing some small. But I basically work with my guitar. I record with my phone the best ideas, and then it's very much just a work of, how do you say? I mean, like redoing and redoing. Many times I do a melody. I record it on my phone. I listen the day after when I forgot it and listen to it with fresh ears. I maybe erase 40%, add some 30 new percents, I don't know. And I do the same thing for 3 days and try to like still, as long as I can have fresh airs, forgetting what I did the day before, I really try to believe in that part and take away what I don't like the day after. And when I have a strong melody, I actually then record it on my computer with like MIDI files, and I have my trumpet, trombone, piano. I do the guitar, some percussion, and start to do arrangements around it.
hmm Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing it. I'm always interested in the compositional process. We've had several different composers of different group sizes and styles, and I definitely enjoy creating music, new music. I myself don't have time to document it and produce it as much these days, but I always like to hear how the process evolves. Now, how do you yourself find your influences and your music? Is it, just kind of sitting down with Spotify or, Apple or whatever and just checking things out? are you on a very intentional exploration, or you just kind of listening as things evolve and see where things take you?
Eh, It's a good question. I think sometimes I find those group where I feel, wow, this is something I really I when I find I found this guy, a piano player from the US, called, where is he? Excuse me. Uh, I don't have him here now. Uh, I
Is he
can
a
get.
jazz guy? What's his?
Yes, and he is like, oh, he just disappeared from my. I think he won a jazz Grammy some years ago. Where did he go? Oh, uh, now I just
Describe him some more. Where did you hear him?
he
Is he younger or older? I mean, what's his
he's older, and I will we need to find him, don't we? Uh,
maybe?
yeah, now he I think he's a teacher in Berkeley now, and I because I just send the link to a friend of mine.
Has he been around? Has he been known for a while, or is he relatively starting to gain notoriety? Like, did you only just discover him yourself, or has he only recently really become?
I think. Sorry, Ethan. Why does it take it so long? Uh, I think I think Spotify, or I started to look for who won Grammys in jazz, and I wanted to find something new.
Okay.
Uh,
It wasn't Danilo Perez?
no, no, no,
No.
no, no,
Okay,
no,
that's
no, no.
too
It
well
was.
known.
My God, we can't cut this away, of course.
Oh, well, it's fine. Well, let's keep talking about other stuff. It'll probably pop in your head all of a sudden at some point. But
Yeah,
tell me, yeah, tell me about your own sort of education musically. So you mentioned that, um, I believe we talked about this on the recording here, that you mentioned that you kind of were into
I
the
found
the oh yeah, what is it?
Alan Mollett. Alan Mollett.
Okay,
And
interesting.
he has his last album is Mutslang. Alan Mollett. Can you find him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm it's coming up here.
Yeah,
ALAINMALLET. I'm not familiar with his
excellent.
music.
And he also has, like, it's not trombone and trumpet. He has a saxophone and a guy who plays flute also, but a guitar player. He plays piano himself, percussion. He has some voices also. I don't know much about him, but I love his music. Uh,
Hmm.
that, as answering your question, things that gets you inspired. But it can be all other things also. I had a student, guitar student, who was from Mexico, and I asked him, "What do you like? What kind of music from Mexico?" And he introduced me to Peso Pluma.
Mm.
That's, you maybe heard of him.
Peso, Peso, or
Yeah, Peso Pluma. That's
oh no.
lightweight,
Okay.
and it's he's as big as Bad Bunny, but in the
Okay.
Mexican style, doing something called corridos
Okay.
tumbados, and he raps. It's a little bit. I mean, it's far away from my music, and it's some kind of drug cartel romantic stuff. The
Okay.
lyrics, so. But what they do rhythmically, how do you say?
Rhythmically,
Rhythmic.
yeah.
Oh my God. It's amazing. They play those traditional folk rhythms, music.
Hmm.
It's so good played. And I got inspired, and I felt, why I need to do something close to
Hmm.
this too.
Hmm.
Uh, and actually, I want to also try to pick up more Argentinian music. Since I'm from Argentina, I would like. I have a milonga that I want to bring into our band. So
Tell us more about Milonga.
there are different kind of milongas. The one there is milonga is a kind of folklore rhythm, but you have it also. The tango tradition has also lifted up the milonga, and you like dum 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 dum. That it has that rhythm, but it can also be dum 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 dum, and so on.
hmm
It's beautiful.
Hmm.
And they have chacareras with 6/8. They're both, there's like a huge bank of rhythms and music to pick from.
So when you hear, so like I said, I don't get a chance to compose much lately, but just recently, and also listening to music is something that I haven't always had time, I don't know, time for, interestingly enough. Listen to it more like a student or something, but not just kind of casually. So I've been doing this lately. I'll listen to Spotify, check out new songs, see what I like, explore. Um, and I've also maybe learned some pieces. Do you that I like, do you tend to, when you hear something that you like, want to incorporate it, right? Or is it more, I'm just listening to this and that, do you know what I'm saying? Like how
Yes,
much of what you're
it
listening
happens
to
to me
that's
many times
you?
that I feel I want to introduce. Wow, I would like to pick up that things.
Hmm
Uh, and it doesn't need to be only rhythms, as I've been talking, but also like the more modern sounds of using. We have a microKORG, I mean,
hmm
analog synthesizers and stuff. Uh, Using pedals, using different sounds, going away from the typical electric guitar sound, uh, and not feeling that. I think most bands, after 5 songs, you feel that they start to repeat themselves in a good way. But sometimes not many bands do these big changes where you can swap from to have a wider angle of styles.
hmm
Uh, I mean, I like, I don't know, Radiohead, that you can feel that they have, wow,
hmm
such a different span of music, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's listen to another one of your tracks. Do you have anything that's coming to mind as appropriate at this moment?
Why don't Caipirinhas? That's a typical samba jazz song.
Okay.
Uh, and
And a Latin American drink. I don't know if everybody will know what
Yeah,
that
of
is, but
course.
yeah.
Yeah, it's cachaça. It's their uh, that's the strong part of it, and they have lime, ice, and sugar. No,
hmm
it's really good. It's dangerously good. We were in Rio, me and the trombone player and her husband and my girlfriend. We went all four there and had a blast for 3 weeks in Rio, and we actually tasted some of those caipirinhas also.
Yes. Okay. Plenty of caipirinhas are flowing.
I didn't say plenty, but
Okay.
well,
All right. All right. A taste. Just a taste. Just a little.
just a taste, just a taste.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Nice. Now this one, I'm hearing like a vocal part.
You do?
Do you ever do pieces with singers or lyrics or anything like that?
Yeah, I've done a lot. Yeah, writing
Okay.
music also. The voice is so strong. The voice is always so special. I tried to have it away from this music because it's like when it's instrumental music, all the instruments are at the same level. As soon as
Hmm.
you have a sing, we actually, but I can say we actually have voices. We have, but it's like we singing. We have choirs mixed in some
Hmm.
songs.
Okay.
Uh, None of the songs of this album, but we in the first album we have two songs where we more have this style, and but I don't know to put in like a featuring a yeah, it could be maybe why not like for making something that you're not waiting for it, but it could be cool.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it. I mean, it's probably it tells the story of you your trip or something.
Yeah, yeah, could be, but I mean, and it could be maybe something I don't know, maybe in the
Yeah, it could be
future.
like almost jazz, like here almost jazzy, kind of also like a very instrumental ish vocal,
Yeah,
like where there's like almost like a scatty kind of thing going on.
in a language that nobody understands.
Yeah, could be. Um, all right, let's get another. Let's share another one. Let's get a taste for the variety here. Pick one more and we'll check it out.
I should say like this. The thing is, we released an entire album. I have
Mhm.
it, but we released it only on vinyl. This is
Wow.
it's only vinyl,
Mhm.
but we released an EP with three of those songs. Uh, Three of the songs. So now we played. I'm sorry, Caipirinhas Algoritmos and Uruguay. That
Yeah.
song. Sorry, there. Uh, are those three songs came out on digital on all digital platforms. So you have them on
Okay.
Spotify, and then because this album is called Flowing,
Yeah.
and the EP is called Get Flowing.
Mm. Okay.
Smart. So no, so the thing is, so the idea was to make people buy the album, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you don't do it, well, there are three good songs on digital platforms, and also the entire first album that we have. That's seven songs more
Yeah.
from Growing.
Yeah. Wonderful. Um, yeah. So did you want to listen to one more or not? Either way.
I would love to. I love
What
that
did
you
you
want
want to
to
do?
listen to
Which
one
one
more.
do you want to listen to?
But
Uruguay or something else?
Uruguay could be cool. Why not? Yeah, Uruguay. Let's go Uruguay.
Okay.
Uruguay, I can say Uruguay is a candombe. It's music from Uruguay, of
There
course.
you, okay, that makes sense. All
Yeah,
right.
that makes sense. And well, it's very much it's the candombe rhythm, but we did something about it. We did our thing with it. So feel
All
free.
right. Let's hear it. Nice, like the ending. That's cool. Yeah, I got that. You really had a nice way to achieve what I don't know if it was intentional, but it felt like you were starting to get pull in almost like a big band type of feel just with the septet, right? With the
Yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
parts and the solo going over it and the build. I thought that
Absolutely.
was well executed.
I need to say something. These guys are excellent, as you may have heard. I mean, it's Carl Olandersson on trumpet. Many of them has their own groups. Carl is one of Sweden's absolutely top five, top one. No,
Hmm.
he's amazing guy. Carl Olandersson, and also Karin Hammar. Karin Hammar also has her own quartet. Karin Hammar Fab Four playing in Germany and so, and also Arnold Rodriguez from Colombia. He has his own trio on piano, and there's Ula Botsen on drums, Juan Patricio Mendoza on electric bass, and Andreas Ekstedt on percussion. Excellent, excellent, all of them.
Hmm.
Amazing job.
Yeah, it's really cool. It was really cool how the trombone and the trumpet can get together. You were really taking advantage of the low range in the trombone to kind of
Mm.
feel those like boom, 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 right?
Yeah, yeah,
And kind of feel that range. Pretty cool.
yeah. Glad you like. Thanks. Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be wrapping up here pretty soon. I want to make sure we cover, anything that we missed or, little topics you might find of interest to chat about before we wrap soon. Anything, questions you wish I would have
Maybe what I
asked
have
or
in we are planning. I'm going now in 2 weeks to Jazz Ahead. Do you know what it is? Jazz
it
Ahead is like
sounds familiar, yeah.
international. It's a jazz trade fair in
Okay.
Bremen, Germany. And I will go there for 3, 4 days and trying to do some networks in contact with new people. I'm really dreaming of trying to reach out more in Europe. That would be really nice. Trying to have new contacts. My dream is to play more, and of course, if I could come to America. But I mean, being in Europe and playing not only in Sweden would be amazing. So that will be interesting in the end of April, 23rd, 24th, 25th. We'll be there, like promoting, doing contacts and so.
Okay.
And besides that, we have a lot of concerts from August in forward, September, August of September. And now I'm playing with other stuff. I'm playing with different other, but just as a guitar player, doing in other people's projects, doing different stuff. So what more could I say?
Well, there actually, I'm remembering before we depart, I did want to touch upon this because you mentioned it, and then you kind of almost mentioned that it kind of dropped off. But I am a little bit curious about your explorations into uh, computers. Did you say computer science, right? You studied
Yeah,
computer science.
yeah.
Um, and so I want to explore that just briefly here. So were you prompted by interest or like career focus? Hey, I want to get some jobs, I want to make some money with this. Like was it a little bit of both?
It's
Just so I
a
have the
little
context.
bit of both. That's the thing. I didn't want to leave my musical career.
Hmm.
I but I felt that wow, it shouldn't be bad to be standing on one more foot. I mean,
Hmm.
I've had my first computer in 1985. I had the Atari. I had Cubase 1.0, the first Cubase with floppy disks, and so I felt, and I always been struggling with PCs and different inner problems. I thought, why not? This could be something really interesting for me. I didn't do any code stuff before that. But I liked it very much. I mean, the abstract thinking of it is really beautiful. Uh,
And what skills did you focus on learning? Like, were you focusing on like being kind of like a full stack developer for like websites, or apps, or is it more like, well, I'm curious, just kind of
No,
what
I learned Java.
mhm,
We did some C++,
mhm.
and I think more backstack
Okay.
would have been like the way to go. But I feel now it's like 2 years ago, and and I haven't been doing any code since then. Sometimes I find it would be nice to now with I heard about Claude
Mm,
and just going into why not to start prompting. But I really put all my time since then on music, and playing very much, and it's fun. But all my heavy metal background came back to me recently, and I've been like looking at different solos and techniques and stuff,
mhm.
enjoying new sides of the guitar. Uh, so I don't know. Maybe and it's not that I'm been closing a door. I can find it maybe in half a year. Let's say I try to do a new program myself or something.
Sure,
All I
yeah.
heard about Claude sounds incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can do. If you know the basics of programming,
Yeah,
yeah, people who don't know any programming at all can create
yeah,
applications now,
yeah.
But if you know the basics, well, then it just makes it easier to actually make something that works and think through all the details.
And know how to prompt and so.
Yeah, cool. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I was just curious. I'm just like, interested in various things, and I've done a little coding myself, so I was curious what that was all about. All right,
yeah, yeah.
we will do an outro here. We'll make sure everybody buys the physical vinyl
I,
disc
I will
available
be,
from Homero
yeah.
Alvarez.
Check out. I guess you maybe leave some links or something. I'm so glad that you invite me and I could be in your program. Are you sending from New York? Are you saying no? You're from Chicago.
I live in Chicago, but I have a business in New York, so I visit there. Yeah,
Ah, all right. Okay.
yes.
Nice.
But
Beautiful.
well,
Thank you very
wonderful to
much,
have
Ethan.
you. I'll do our outro, and then we'll call it a day here. We have reached the end of another musical journey here at Piano Tech Radio Hour. Of course, thanks to Homero Alvarez for joining us today, as well as those folks that are joining us live on the weekend. Um, we are brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses. This is cutting edge instruction for piano industry masters without leaving your home. If you joined us today by signing up for the session individually, hey, make your life way more convenient. Subscribe to Piano Tech Radio Hour. Just 16 bucks a month. You get the recording of today's session in our member area, automatic registration for each week's new session. Sign up at bit.ly/join PTRH. That's bit.ly/join PTRH. Don't forget about the podcast audio only version, a Substack, where we have a blog, socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and our email list. Sign up at the website with just your name and email. All right. Thank you all very much.